Okay, I'm not here to praise them, but I'm here to say the truth.
Go to the point.
Okay, let me go to the point.
You are protected. You are protected.
Please go to the point. Yes, thank you. Okay. I've been an information officer for quite some time now, and I've gained a lot of experience in the civil service and the way government operates. You see, one of our main objectives or goals is to promote the image of government, the good image of government, government personalities, activities, projects, etc., policies included. You see, over the years we've been trying hard to do so, but because of one reason or the other, we are not able to do so. Now, the point is, one, political interference in the administration of the Information Directorate. That has been a point years back. Up till now, it is still the same. But I hope that problem will be settled. You know, let me
have 2 seconds.
Okay. Okay. Let me know. Yeah, that's one. The other problem is the provision of the adequate resources needed to run the affairs of the directorate. Okay. For example, we have problems with equipment and material. Right. The director can attest to the fact.
Noted.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You have to keep it short. It's just 2 minutes. Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Lee. Commissioner Officer for the Ministry of Development, Climate Change. I want to thank our young.
Can you be your pace? Slow, fast.
I want to thank our young cabinet ministers for being stepping in as head of Ministry of Information and Civic Education, our parent minister. For my own unit at the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change, well, I will just delve on the challenges. First of all, I've approached the permanent secretary more than twice in terms of having camera up to now, camera, which has been a lip service to my execution of duties. When it comes to interest, to actually keep my unit, the common language normally is money knowledge. I believe all of us are experiencing that, and that has been a challenge. So I would like the new ministers actually to provide the necessary tools for us so that we can enhance our information dissemination to the wishes that you have.
Where do you typically convey this request? Is it to your ministry you are assigned or to our ministry?
Well, to the ministry which are currently assigned. So I'm just
typically if you want money for inquest na climate change permanent secretary you want, then it's a money.
Yes, that is a money. So I'm just asking for the tools that, if of course, which up to now they haven't provided yet. So I believe that. So
right. Now, although I never worked in government, yes. So this is all education for me. I'm trying to understand. So that's why I asked this question.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're looking forward also to the gender aspect, women. I don't think we take a back seat here. Yes. Okay, we'll come over. Yeah.
Yes, I am James Kelly from Information Officer for the Ministry of Health. I mean, you can spend the entire day talking about challenges, but for me, I think more so important is for leadership to put us in a capacitated position. We know we live in contemporary times where communication has evolved. So for me, I think it is important as a mandate for the Ministry of Information to find a way to train staffs, I mean, in these modern times. So in that way, information can be as seamless as possible and it can be wide range.
Because so what kind of training do you need, for example?
So, say digital communication, for example.
You don't have skills in that?
Well, I'm speaking on behalf. I have some. No, I mean I have some training. Where I'm from, we have the opportunity sometimes to get in these trainings.
But you believe that in general, digital literacy and digital communication is something that's missing?
Thank you. We just take the last, and then we'll get some response before we go to second round. Let me take a lady this time. I'll come. Okay.
Again, my name is Samantha, and I represent.
Sorry, please be audible.
All right. Let's see if we can identify with the mic. All right.
Okay, so again, my name is Samantha, and I am here representing the Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security. I want to talk on an issue that affects information officers generally, which means it also affects me personally. Most of us in our ministries, we are most times left behind. What I mean by we are left behind is, most of our duties are tied around the ministers. And if the ministers do not take us along, most of the time, we don't have much to report. Sometimes we'll just be at the office and we'll hear maybe around the corridors or outside that, oh, your minister was just on radio, your minister was just on TV. Journalists came and they are in the minister's office. You'll be like, how? What's happening? And sometimes the ministers, they go to the provinces. We don't know what they are going to do. We are just here. They go for very important meetings or engagements. They go overseas. We are here, and we are the information officers of this ministry. They are going to represent the ministry and the government on platforms. But we don't know what they're going to do. We're just here, and then they come back, and sometimes we see the news on other blogs, and we're like, wow, so this is happening. And another issue is, I am happy that the minister mentioned that when he engaged the Minister of Finance, one thing that came out was that the standard that they have set for their officers, finance officers, budget officers, he wants the same standard to be set for his officers, that is us, information officers, PROs, and the likes. If we are going to have the same standards, I want to be that we also have the same facilities, the packages, specifically salaries. I don't want to call the amount here, but no, I would say amount here, but I believe the ministers are already informed. They already know what the salary disparities are. It's very discouraging when it comes to us. And funnily, we are all recruited and operating on the same rate. So, I think I'll
Thank you. We pass the mic. I think I'm advised that we take more input from colleagues. Okay.
Thank you so much, Acting Director. Again, good morning, guests and deputy and colleagues all. I think we have a lot of critical challenges in the information ecosystem. And one of them is a lack of clarity on the mandates and responsibilities for communicating the government's positions on policies and programs. And as the lady has said, some of our ministers would rather work with their own personal assistants as their information officers rather than the existing structures that we have. Again, the different ministries, departments, and agencies would rather work in silo than collaborate. Governments do not speak to each other. And so it is necessary that we have, and I'm really pleased, I don't want to be another McAnthony, but I'm really pleased that we do have ministers who are now in place and want to see how best we can work coherently and inclusively to ensure that no one is left behind, that we are all parts of the information ecosystem. Again, I think my colleagues have indicated that there are other challenges, including incentives for information officers. These incentives can include training programs. Some ministries, like the Ministry of Health, I think they are having a lot of incentives. The information officers even have vehicles. You know, they are allocated vehicles. They attend a lot of training programs. I know there's an upcoming training program at the Ministry of Health for digital literacy. And so, if we have ministries who have these capacities, I think rather than just being focusing on their own ministry, I think it's very important that they liaise with the Ministry of Information so that other information officers can benefit from such training. So again, I would suggest that you speak to your colleagues at the cabinet level to see how best we can move these discussions so that we can stop operating in silos. Thank you.
Okay, the guy closer to you. Just a quick reminder, your name and...
I'm Mohamed Ushakonte. From the Ministry of Public Administration and Political Affairs. I'm Senior ICT Officer. I believe I want to congratulate the ministers for this position and pray they will succeed. What worked well is that we are doing our work perfectly individually. Perfectly individually. And what does not work well is that we hardly have short a meeting. We hardly have short a meeting to know that we're supposed to work in synergy to succeed. So that does not work well. And what we need to do is to have more meetings like this. We need more motivations. And also, we need a hub. Because I remember during the time, later days, we have the hub as Leone. It was a good hub for all journalists. And also, we need to be treated as an asset in the ministry. And promotion is lacking. I believe with this, things will work well.
What do you mean by promotion is lacking?
Promotion, well, there is no career pathway in the ministry. There is no career pathway. Once you are appointed information officer, you will live there till the end of the day. Or you decide to go.
No, but hold on. Yes. I think that is not correct.
Yes.
The gentleman that first spoke is senior information officer.
Yes.
So which basically means
It's different. We'll clear that where we are.
Yes, but so many people. So I mean the majority, if you check, you will see that the majority does not have a career pattern.
All right. I take the last two, then we respond, right? Okay. Yes, sir. Maybe you speak louder.
So,
your name and...
I am the co-person for Leone Roads Authority.
Roads Authority, okay.
Yes. Leone Roads Authority. So, I have joined the government communication system for almost 3 years now. What I have observed that is mostly lacking is the involvement of persons at the planning level. Because communication all depends on planning. If you plan properly, you can communicate well. So you see most institutions, they have different projects. These project officers or managers see themselves as just being people who are supposed to be there. So when once they have activities or even planning their projects, they don't involve other people, especially comms-persons. So if communications people are not involved in these planning activities, the comms-person will not be able to tell you that for social activities we can need this and this in time. So at the end of the day, they do their budgets without involving communication. So when once they are implementing these activities, they don't even have insights that these activities is worth communicating. Or we want to communicate this activity. We don't have budgets for it. So most times comms-persons are seen as ad hoc instead of being partners in the implementation of the project. So my recommendation is you have to maybe call our heads of institutions to let them know that comms people are to be involved at planning level throughout the project implementation stage. And also, as one of my colleagues was saying, most institutions don't have a platform. You go to a website now, not all institutions have, existing websites. So communication is not only about, communicating at national or local level, but there are other people out there who want to know what government or projects are doing. So we need to see how we can create that platform, even if not all institutions, like you are not saying we want to create a hub. So we can have a hub at the ministry where we can be sending our comms and materials to be published at that website. So once journalists internationally or locally want to have access, they can just quickly go to that hub. So for now, these are
Yeah, the last person, then you take the response.
Good morning, colleagues. Bangali Mohammed from NAS. Yeah, I have a different approach. I am working from an institution that has an established public platform, public information system. We have an running systems. We utilize the various media platforms to ensure that we engage our public in the things we do. And we have an effective public information system. And we occupy the public information system by the highest division in management. So we have directors, the director that sits in management, and we trickle that information to our respective units. We have also been a resource to government most of the time in speech writings, in giving information on our own agenda, what we do as a scale. But what is missing in all this is the government information ecosystem is set on a fire brigade. We don't have a consistent approach into handling what we do, how we do them, and how can we synergize the various efforts which we will leverage for public information system. We want to call you, President is going to Parliament, what is your achievement now for the past 1 year? That's the fire brigade approach. You will give them the updates. It will be part of the government's president's statement. But it will not go down to the public information system. It is only meant for Parliament. Do we have parliamentarians going back to their constituencies, telling them what President said? No. So I think what we should try to understand, what is the function of the Ministry of Information and Civic Education? How do we relate with the various public information systems at the various government levels? How can we crash down the fire brigade and establish a consistent public information system at district level, chiefdom level, district level? Because the mandate has gone beyond just information to civic education. And having it in your platform, we need to move away from a fire brigade and establish a hub. Well, not just the hub, but how can we go beyond the hub to ensure that the last man in that village understands what NASIT has done, how much are we paying pension, how has President affected the lives of pensioners by increasing the government pension from 40,000 to 250. Yes, those are the kind of areas we should be working and see how we move.
Okay, we'll have opportunity probably for the next rounds, once we get some response or feedback or clarifications and comments from.
All right, thank you so much. To be honest with you, some of these problems I suspected, but it's really great to hear them from you who are leading this work. As I said, for us, this is an education. So I'm not going to clarify all the issues. I'm going to let you know that I've had you. When I spoke earlier, I mentioned government information flows. What we really want to do is to create a system. What you are all saying is there's no system. I wanted to ask a few questions. How many of you, first of all, even knew each other and knew of each other's work in your respective ministries? So you're supposed to be a team. We're all on the same team. We should be properly coordinated. We should all have predictable systems, equipment, opportunities, and facts. That's our ambition. So I hear you loud and clear on that. That is good. Let me also make this clear. Many people are wondering, it's because the news separates the ministry. It's exactly because of this issue. The president, in his wisdom, understood that sometimes, because the mandate was so huge, it was regulating the entire telecommunications industry, looking at connectivity and all, sometimes the information sector was not getting the required attention that it deserved. So His Excellency has created a separate ministry so we can look at this issue. I really like questions about predictability of information and not playing defense. I've told people, government owns the blueprints. And I can assure you, we're going to use that blueprints effectively this time. We will not be playing defense. You are going to ensure we don't play defense. We have a lot to say. We will not be out there cleaning up. No. We will dominate. Because we have a lot of excellent people who are doing work, who are generating information. And it's not just information for the sake of just sharing information. The people of this country have a right to know what is going on. And the point about a hub, we've already discussed this. We're going to really think about the different channels and platforms that we have for constructive engagement. If somebody thinks of something, if somebody sees something with the outside, if I know say I go to this one place, I will go check and make sure say yes, this is from government or not. If I want information, I will know say I go and go know say this will come up from the government. I've already checked and realized that so many of you don't even have website. Some of you don't have Twitter accounts for your respective agencies. If you have them, they are dominant. Some of you don't have Facebook pages. Some of you don't have. Those are all very simple, systematic things that we need to set up. And we need to, as you said, support you with these tools. I'll tell you what we're going to do. I want to comment on one other issue about sometimes the ministry officials do not engage the information officials. I take that point, and I'm going to engage with my colleagues. Part of the systemic review we're doing is how to make sure that this is improved. But also, if they don't engage you some 10, 1 or 2 10, better not commodity. If me and minister, I create me an alternative system. Especially when we are part of the infrastructure, you know, they control over whether they are point or not. So the question too is, how proactive are you? What relationship do you have with the media? You know the way that the minister don't set up your interview, say we set up the interview, not tell me. If you don't say the minister don't do something per week, you get your media people the way that you coordinate with you go say there are that then go make sure say they report on we and positive things so they happen on my ministry. So this will lead me to what we want to do as part of this review process. I like the invitation to professionalism and adequate compensation or incentives or motivations. All communication is all kind of all the same. The flip side of that is we need to up the game. Game need for the upper. This game right now is so it's not to the level. I want people to understand that this is not the level. Basic picture where government was limited. I don't see we on camera about it all. Basic picture. When I look at the picture, I don't cry. Picture. People look at the picture. So when they look at the picture, look at that picture, they be the poster. Oh. Information officer picture. Because you have the commitment to excellence. That's what I tell my team. Me, I refuse for things that everybody better pass me. Nobody not better pass me. I believe we went to the same school, this in a class. That's what I believe. That if I can go into the UK, ordinary half and half institution, I go on the website, I go on the system, everything is top. I expect the exact same thing. That's why all the go meeting there and then they start now, they say that we should have the block common so the meeting they start. I expect the exact same standard of better person. The exact same standard. Excellence. Absolute excellence. Uncompromising excellence. And then in that stage, you go for use forgetting. I don't mention capacity issues. So I understand. I don't expect possible start today, tomorrow, begin like the absolute best press release. Or go for work together, go for understanding, commitment to the president, you don't ask me for, not to follow, we start for tete, and follow, go on. So we put in place a system. We want to do first a review. I don't talk about review. We can do an assessment. If you're an information officer, you only need 2-3 years. We create a system. Everything we don't produce inside that 2 years, I want to attach them. I want to see. If not press release, I want to hear. If not video, I want to watch it. If not news coverage, when I you your work, make sure that because that's your job also. Yes. So we make sure we give you the opportunity to share. So we get a baseline. We can develop a platform there now to just form up for information attached there, all my because all my information attached first. I call them for information attached. For that and separate. So first we therefore start with understanding the base. Now I understand say challenges a day. But in the midst of the challenges, some people don't produce. Some people don't write 2-3 reports. Some people don't produce 1 or 2 people will be sick. So we give opportunities for them to share everything we don't do. Then we and you the assessor together. Now from that baseline now we understand say okay, this person here in at this level of support he needs. Then we create that plan together. Then we create a system by which the information will flow. How will they make sure say every week? I mean, talked to the minister there last week, so we work on it, say they get access to basic information circular on what the government do. Now I will press conference. Before I go to the press conference, I will not get updates. Tweets like updates. Limited character, summary for all information officers. So when we start the press conference, we filter and say, okay, which one are the top priority? The people of Salone need for no. We read all. We start from people that we don't tweet some of them ahead. So the people of Salone get right for those. They get additional information now. They need more. We send them to now. We let them go seek the clarification. But all that needs to be answered some of the problems we just mentioned. Just that we get the information first. We get side where we put that information there. People that get place for go check that information there. And so we tell it for the president of parliament. We're not going to wait until oh they write to us. Let's pay the guy this people write a exactly. So now they will be able to link this information platform and the civic education platform. Let us stop. I want to take one more round of comments and feedback.
All right, sir. I'd like to stand, sir. Yeah. Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, once more, I am Colonel Issa Banura. I'm the Director, of Defense, Public Relations and Information from the Ministry of Defense and by extension the Republic of Ireland Armed Forces. Sir, in your submission, both the Deputy Minister and you, sir, you want to know what is working and what is not working. But I think the most important thing here is for you to get the lessons learned on the area, what is not working. That will guide you. Firstly, I'll look at priority on media and communication activities. This has to be key because for my experience from our department and the ministry, finance is coming, money is coming into the ministry. But if you don't prioritize communication, definitely you have problems in terms of those people that are rolling out the activities and also getting the public to know what you want them to know. Somebody talked about capacity building. This is key. From the various ministries, departments, and agencies, you have capabilities which the other ministries or other departments lacks. And so what? There's need for you to complement them. And that will come out through a meeting like this, which is very, very necessary for us. Joint planning and training.
Sir, this is key. If you are not part of the process, you will not deliver. Somebody talked about that. If you are in a ministry and there is an operation that is ongoing, you are not, as a communication and media officer, you are not part of the planning. You run into problems. That is saying that when people are not informed, they tend to be misinformed. So this is key. From the planning stage, the media and communication person is supposed to be in that plan and also joint training so that you're able to assess your weaknesses and strengths to assist you to be effective and efficient in your job. There is also another key area that you want us to focus on. Effective and continuous inter-ministry and departmental collaboration, cooperation, and coordination. This is very key. So what you've done for us now, we are moving towards achieving what I'm talking about. If our meetings are regularly, we put up our challenges and see how best we can move around those challenges. For us in the armed forces, there are challenges, but challenges can be challenged for us. Like the minister said, there are challenges. Move around those challenges so that you can produce results. At times, the minister, they will be in a meeting or some engagement and say, hey, why is director of PR info? That's the only time they will remember. But if you are proactive enough, you go around to say, hey, what is the minister having in the next week coming? If they forget to call you, you'll be part of it. And you become relevant in the ministry or in the department.
Thank you, thank you.
The next one is timely passage of information to the public. It is clear that we have internal communication and external communication. But what is lacking here now is the external. How do we get to the public? And we must also note that in passing out our information, we have the different channels. And those channels must be respected. For example, if you are passing on information within the capital of town, remember if you go to the provinces, there must be a different channel of passing that information. It is key. And we've seen over time that this area is lacking. We feel say, oh, don't you know at all, we don't talk on the television, that's it. No. We have to cater for the target audience, those that are on new media, which is social media, and also traditional media. We have to strike a balance of that.
All right.
So sorry, just few seconds, please. I beg your permission, sir.
I know the police too.
Okay, sir. Sir, I will stop here so far. But let me thank you once more again on behalf of my ministry, and I'm happy to be with you. I'm here also to learn, because learning is a continuous process. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Let me take awareness. After that,
thank you very much. My name
Let's keep it short so that others can also.
My name is Abdul Karim Will. ONS. I will be remiss if I fail to recognize the support and leadership that we have received at ONS from the leadership. At ONS, we are given the free hand and we are given the requisite support to reach out to the public. You will agree with me that 5 years or 6 years down the line, it was not the same. So my concern is, and the appeal I'm making, is that most of the people that are heading these government ministries, department and agencies are political and politics. So it will have to take them to take passion in passing out information. So let us create a system where it becomes an imperative. Even after they have left, somebody should have to take from them. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Yes, sir.
Yeah, actually, I'm Kisma Kasama from Education. I think the 2 points have already been raised, but I think they are so relevant that I have to flog them again. One is mainstreaming communications. I think it's so important that at ministerial level, you guys have to engage your colleagues. Like one of my colleagues said earlier, sometimes Project A has an activity, but communication doesn't know. You just hear them in the field, they have gone to the field, and the guys actually communicating in the place, information they're not there. However, we have to be agile. I mean, Minister spoke about predictability. It's good, the infrastructure should be predictable. But at the same time, the way we gather information, you have to be agile. Minister is somewhere, you heard that Minister went to somewhere, you were not there. But when he comes, you also have the onus to meet Minister. Hey, Minister, what's not talking about, something like that. So you take the news from there. Or your colleague went to the field, you were not there. but you saw pictures in a WhatsApp group, you saw something like short notes in a WhatsApp group. You are not there, but also when he or she comes, you can also be agile enough to meet that colleague and say, okay, you know, what happened next? Probably something will tell them that, oh, you know what, communication is so important, I have to involve them whenever, wherever. So I think these two things are very important. Agility and mainstreaming communications. So these are stuff that we have to do.
Okay. Thank you very much, lady.
Yes, I'd like to emphasize on in terms of infrastructure, because Minister, you pointed out that you mentioned in the UK, if you go to their website, you see quality picture, quality content. Some institutions, people use their personal phones or gadgets. So how can you produce quality when you don't have the updated or up-to-date technology or gadgets? So I want you to
No. Let me respond to that point, because I think it's a good point you make.
Yeah.
But there's also just an eye for quality. So man get 20 pictures, you use your phone. You take. Let me finish. I've seen this. Trust me, I'm not. This is not the way. No. Even with the one the way you get, let me tell you, I received 20 pictures taken by the same person, and they've written 2 stories and books the worst 2 pictures there. Yeah. The worst 2 that I can just look at immediately and say this picture is bad.
Yeah, I know.
The picture is angle bad, the picture blurred, even with them with phone here. Yeah. So I get the point about the equipment, but I think it's a both and solution. It's not an either or solution.
The training,
equipment, and
just
the commitment to excellence. Yes, to reality.
Training and ensuring that institutions, you cannot have communications department that doesn't have a professional camera, or people being trained how to operate a professional camera.
Okay.
So I think
we'll take it note of that. There's another lady. There's another lady there. Yeah. Please just remind us your name.
Mary Mansarek from Salwako. Yeah, I want to congratulate the ministers again. You said something about, do we all like, I mean, we all love Sierra Leone, but are we pleased with the information structure? I always say we are sweating under the rain because we don't give out to the public what the public needs to know what government is doing. In my place of work, Salwako, we work out of Freetown actually. We are only here, but we work out of Freetown. And like colleagues have said it's a fire brigade thing. They go to this meeting and say, oh, where is that person? That doesn't work. Or they go out of here and then take pictures and send them to you for you to do the news. I have refused doing that for my boss. I mean, I didn't care whether he was going to fire me that day. I told him I'm not going to represent it because I don't even know what I'm going to say. I wasn't there when that happened. Worked well is establishing all of us in these different areas, the ministries and the MDAs. That has worked very well. But what is not working well, like you asked, is are we really doing the job for which we are being placed in those places? Somebody said across there that you, maybe after this meeting, after you have
I want to congratulate the ministers again once more, and thank you so much for bringing us together. I'm Malia Walonjaro from National Monitoring and Evaluation Directorate. And we are having different experiences, and the challenges are here. We can't even explain all of these challenges here. I want to suggest something that if the ministry can do a gap survey, so that we know exactly what is lacking and what is there. I think that would be good. And also, Mr. Minister, when you are engaging your colleague ministers, if you can also involve the permanent secretaries also, and these director generals, chairpersons, because they are running these institutions also. So please, if you can also involve them in the process so that they know that this is what we want to do so that we can have a sustainable collaboration and coordination. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Leading the day now, let's go on to make a second. Yes, quickly, just a minute now. That's your second bite. Yeah.
Kova Nancy Williams, Petroleum Regulatory Agency. I want to say thank you to the Minister and Deputy for this step. It's a step in the right direction. that we all could coordinate, be inclusive in what you tend to do in your survey. I want to agree with the minister that we need to do more in terms of public education. Like somebody said down there, we have to choose our target audience. You know, like the minister said, we cannot be always defending. For example, if something bad come up about your agency or your ministry or your department, you want to run through all the media platforms. I believe, like he said, we must dominate. There are certain things we need to take from the MDAs to the public, to the masses. We need to educate them. And also, Freetown is not the only place like to share in communication. Like on my department, over a period of time, I do radio discussion programs with almost all the radio stations provincially. So I think, like the minister said, we need to be resourceful, do more on public education, sell out our departments, agencies, and ministries. That is my own concern.
Thank you. Okay, Alfred, please. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Good morning. Honorable Ministers, I want to welcome you. I'm Alfred Kabia, the Post Communication Officer here. And I must say congratulations to you. Yeah. Mine is short. I want to actually talk directly issues pertaining development communication aspects. I think it's key. Somebody mentioned something about finance. I think we need to start there. The plan that is fading out now, the medium-term development plan, make mention, you know, on cluster 8.5, development communication as a means of implementation for the president's, you know, new direction manifesto. Now preparations are ongoing for the successor plan. I think it is timely now for the ministry to make greater inputs in terms of salvaging all of these concerns that are coming. You know, if you plan together, then you are bound to succeed. Let us actually try to present something tangible to the development preparation of the plan. I think it is key. Then also, I want to actually talk to my colleagues that let us, you know, try as best as possible to always capacitate. You know, personal development is also very, very much important in terms of, you know, dealing with. If you are waiting only for the ministry and what have you to do or to push you, I don't think, you know, it's difficult sometimes.
All right, thank you.
So, yeah, I have one more. Yes. Yeah, thank you, sir. And one other important issue that the Honorable Minister here mentioned, on the motivational aspect, I think it's very much important for, you know, for us communications officer. Mr. Minister, you made mention of the press attaches. I think on the motivational aspect for us, if you go to the Ministry of Defense, you will not take somebody out from the street or the police to represent the Ministry of Defense there. We are appealing as information officers. I think it's deserted, Director. Yeah, it's actually on the statutory instrument. Please, we are appealing.
What is on the statute? What is
the information officers for the press attaches. Press attaches. Yeah, yeah.
So that you should use.
Yes. Government. I cannot actually recall now. I cannot recall now. Yeah, senior government information officer. Yeah, for press attachés. Yeah. So I'm appealing. Yeah. So that you can think around that. Thank you.
Thanks. I think I have two people. Maybe you conclude. I mean, let's see.
No, there's a lady from Fire Force.
Oh, I didn't see her.
Okay, we're going to end this meeting at 11:30.
Let's keep
so,
it short.
Keep going.
Thank you very much. I think there was a reference made to the right to access information law, and there are provisions under the law for the proactive disclosure of information. There are also provisions under the law for public information officers in every ministry, department, and agency. However, when I was serving as Commissioner of the Right to Access Information, we realized that the PIOs who are in these ministries are not given the responsibility to proactively disclose information. Also, when they do disclose, it's mostly supply driven rather than demand driven. So, Mr. Minister, we want to appeal that when you're developing the structures and the plans, we also need to take into consideration the II law and see how best we can incorporate the issue of PIOs and rather than duplicating information officer, we rather use the existing structures to also serve and meet the desirables of the REI. Thank you.
Yeah, the man closer than the lady at the back.
Hello, gentlemen and ladies. I'm Mohamed Bobo Mansari. Minister of Information has been my starting point. I became a member of Minister of Information in 2002. But I just want to draw the Minister's attention. Who are you now? I'm Mohamed Bobo Mansari. I'm working at the Road Maintenance Fund Administration. Okay. I just want to draw the Minister's attention whether you have contacted UNDP about developing the communication strategy. We started that, and it did not materialize. I think the seed money that's still there. I think we need to source that, because all of what you are saying depends on capacity or whatever, depends on money. So without that, we cannot. I will not dwell too much on the situation analysis of the media officers. We have been victim to it. In fact, I resigned from that ministry because of this press attaché team, because I think it was our purview at the Ministry of Information that we should be press officer by the rank we wear, but with due regard to the private journalists, they took the whole thing and gave it to them. I resigned.
So you take a person.
Take a person. Yeah, no, I did not take it personal. It is my right. Yeah. So I think if we want our brothers and sisters to really perform, the ministry should give up the necessary backup to be doing that. Well, anyway.
That's it. Thank you. Madam Fire Force, please.
Yes. Good morning.
Hello, let's pay attention, please.
I'm Binta from my National Fire Force. I want to join other speakers in thanking the minister and the entire ministry for this laudable venture. And I want to appeal that after this meeting, we will try to meet with our heads of departments. Because when we go back and make this report, they will listen, but they will not give it the kind of attention it needs. So you need to engage them and try to talk to them for them to improve on this communications unit. Because it will shock you to know that some institutions are having communication officers who are not even having offices, not to talk about equipment to do their work. So that's a very big challenge. Engaging them will make a very good venture for us to work with. Thank you.
Thanks so much. And now it's closed. We ask the Honorable Minister to respond, and whichever other question is there, we'll talk on that.
Let me allow them to share questions.
I think there are many issues we have to address, and we will not address everything overnight. Obviously, the minister is very clear about excellence, the standard. But I think individually, you also have to do reflections, whether you have been doing justice to your job. It's very individual reflections that all of you need to take. And also, I think part of what we need to begin to think is that our expectation is that as information officers, as cops people, you have to start to begin to multitask. Government does not have money to employ in an agency, information officer, a photographer, a videographer, you know. So, I think part of the capacity building is to ensure that if you are an information officer, you should be able to have the capacity through training to take good pictures as the minimum, as the basic, which I think is something that we have to do. And for me, I always like different view from those who think information officers should be at the planning stage. I think that is poverty of ambition, actually. You should be at the management level. Because at the management level is where those decisions are taken. Now, there are different structures. It may be there are some institutions you have a directorate of IC, which means that your director is a manager or in the management, senior management level. Now, in institutions where you don't have a director, you just have information officers, I think, Minister, part of, I think, our advocacy should be that all information officers should be part of management level across MDAs. Because that is where you discuss all management issues and you take decisions. So which basically means that planning stage is almost like a consequence of the management decision. They can then say, okay, let's form a committee to implement project X. And in that committee, we put information officer. But it is being taken at the management level. So I think that's the first thing. And I also think that you have to also improve on your interpersonal relationship with the heads of your agencies. Because it's very key. Like the minister said, I mean, if I'm head of an agency, I don't have confidence in information officer, I don't take it on my program. Because I know even if I take you, I'll probably just a dead wood. I will not see my news, I will not see my pictures, I will not see anything. So you have to be proactive by making sure you build on your interpersonal relationship with the head of agencies. One, to increase confidence and trust, but also to be proactive. Rather than just you waiting for you to be told about what to do. Sometimes you take the initiative of what are we doing next week? Or do you have any programs coming? But again, I think the benchmark is if you are at the management level, those decisions are taken there and then you are aware. And finally, somebody spoke about that. Mrs. Waronjaro, yes, my lecturer's wife. When I had your name, I said, okay, that's my lecturer's wife. So I wanted to say that. I think that's very important, the gap survey. But like Minister said, part of what we intend to do is to make sure that there's self-assessment. We are working on the tools now. And also to do an inventory. So that self-assessment will do inventory of, we know that, for instance, NACIT is a more resourceful, more sophisticated institution. They have resources, they have money. We do not expect more resource. Yes, we will not expect the structure in NACIT to be as in Fire Force. You understand? But again, it's about our vision. We have to have a standardized process where even if you're not at NACIT level, but you have the basics. But I must end by saying self-reflection. Ask yourself, what's value to this institution? That's the most important.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Minister. Make tell you all thank you first of all. I don't know if I noticed, but when I advocate for talk here, so I really think it's the essence of communication and people to understand.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not sure that you say, you're not speaking English. I think I should also do that because I'm very comfortable with that I'm speaking English. Nobody knows what's now recording us at this communication. Okay. Let me thank you all for coming, for the tone of this conversation, because it's about setting the stage for our relationship. I appreciate the honesty. I appreciate the transparency. I appreciate the challenging of yourselves and the challenging of us. Because this is a teamwork. The director just don't remind me say the acts, the Right to Access Information Act, PIOs have been amended to now be GIOs, Confidential Information Officers. We don't talk about plenty things there. We don't talk about the need for an information and communications policy. We don't talk about strategy. We don't talk about systems. We don't talk about resources and capacity. We don't talk about predictability in this relationship and in the engagement. The Honorable Deputy Minister mentioned for what we set to the highest possible standard. How far showing us this at the beginning of the conversation. We want to be in touch. I want to set up a WhatsApp group already. Yes. Let me use that WhatsApp group every week, as I don't say. By Monday, midday, we want to share top line updates for what will happen on our sector, any news item. We share a platform where also give restrictions. We share long one, not going on. We're going to read out what we present to the people. And we begin developing tools. We're starting a systematic review of, as I've said, information flows. And also that will include things that are called a gap assessment. Just looking at where we need for who. I really want to plead with us to the end. I'll plead with you, man. I really want to plead with you all. You're professionals. We in this sector play a very big role in how the people of this country and the international community see us as serving. We have to take pride in the work we do and take pride in what we put out. If you get our commitments, first of all, just as a foundational commitment, that what we do is important and it should be of the highest possible quality and standard. You know, I used to tell me, say, I only ask you whether you can force in a class, not to the standard enough. The standard is not for a little man. The standard is very simple. Is that the best you could have done? If you hold yourself to that standard, if you know, say, we will call it, say, we can't die, we can't die. If you hold yourself to the standard, say, me, this one, I know, say, I do my absolute best, then that's fine. Then, but not submit something to me where you don't even read it. Where some man is submitting paper to me, in your name, you don't misspell it. In your name, you misspell it. That means you don't take yourself serious. The first sentence, you get grammatical problem. Grammatical problem, when you're capable for C. Spelling is when you're capable, not for me. So this is what I mean. This is the one of the best. So now we start there, and then I don't listen to now. We get at all this, I promise you, we will take all of this into consideration. One way we will solve the solve, one way we will solve will be transparent. And I ask the director in the leadership of the ministry to make this conversation periodic, at least once every month. We make time, we come back together, we review, and tell me, Mr. Minister, so we get rid of the cameras. Mr. Minister, what you do the other day will not be like how we think you could do better. I want to hear that. Me no sabi all thing, me minister, I make the first one talk and say, I want the government, we know to the sector this. I know say President, we don't know why it puts me. I want to learn. I have a history of delivery and a history of doing things to the best of my ability. I can't remember raise me. So that's what I bring. Una we don't lay away, a journalist, expert, I want to hear from you. If we do something wrong, tell us. If we do something good back, we thumbs up. Huh? November. We will know, so we'll continue to do that day. Me said the whole that exact same standard. We create a template with all man in the day, starting next week Monday. One day we will not submit an update, we will call you out. And part of the review that day. So that will also means that for people active, go talk to the minister or the principal and find out what not happen there at the beginning that day. Then we will create the systems that we all will use. So plenty thank you again. I look forward to an excellent working relationship and for us to transform this sector to the point that we all will be proud now, once and for all, of how the government of Saturday communicates with the people and how we handle information and civic education. God bless you all.
And then just one better for the active night. The one that we not can miss meeting. Yeah, better make a duty for can the next meeting. Yeah? My last chance to do.
Thank you very much. Announcement, please. Ensure who we don't come, or make sure say the number where you give or email we able to access you. If the number we give another on WhatsApp, if we want okay will reach you on WhatsApp or any handle way you will recommend. But please, we want to create that database.
How many of you get .gov.sl email?
Unalready.gov.
You get .gov.sl. Now we all use all my way at the
.gov.sl. No, we're not asking for general. What do you mean the government portal?
Follow up.
.gov.sl.
Alright,
please use the official email so we communicate. For them, when we're not there on official, we will send to that. Last thing, we make small refreshments because you need some anotic breakfast. Just after the interaction, just wait in the hall, you take the package.
Thank you very much for watching. We have come to an end of this program. See you some other time. Bye.